The Ashanti Region Criminal Investigations Department is taking over investigations into the death of a female hawker believed to have been gang raped at Wokrum in Kumasi. 37-year-old plantain chips hawker Naomi Opoku's body was discovered on a street on Saturday, a day after she disappeared. 4 suspects, including 2 juveniles and their grandmother, as well as a mason, are in custody in connection with the death. Ohiming Teria has more.
In a swift response, police at Bokrom Estate pick up 4 suspects, including juveniles. The 2 adults have been identified as 36-year-old Mason Emmanuel Efriye and 60-year-old Margaret Abura. They are being held on provisional charges of conspiracy to commit murder and rape.
Went to a drinking spot to buy some thoughts of local dry gin, that is apoteshi, and in a drunken state ordered to be served. After taking it, she became unconscious, and then she was sent to a room which is housed in the drinking spot for her to take a nap in order to regain her consciousness. And these 2 grandsons of suspect Margaret Abura, who are juveniles in the case, kept her in a room. And 1 suspect, Emmanuel Efriye, who had also gone to the drinking spot to buy some thoughts of dry gin. On seeing that the deceased has been sent to that room, sneaked into the room and took advantage of her condition and then had sexual intercourse with her.
Ashanti Regional Police Command says it is expanding the scope of investigations pending autopsy on the body. ASP Godwin Ahianyo is command spokesperson.
We are still investigating. As is indicated, every case that comes before us, we make sure we investigate it to the latter and get the culprit involved arrested. This is a case of death, and names have been mentioned. We have picked up 4 persons, and we are taking statements from them. The case docket will be sent to the Attorney General's office for advice, so investigation is still ongoing.
ASP Ahianyo assured the public of thorough investigations as police look for more suspects.
At the moment, it's at the district level, but the regional crime officer has been informed, and the docket will be forwarded to the regional level as it is taking a national dimension, and I'm sure the region will take up this matter and investigate it to its logical conclusion.
Meanwhile, family of the deceased is devastated by the tragic and shocking development as relatives mourn the deceased. Leftover of plantain chips and some personal belongings of the deceased found at the crime scene welcome sympathizers to the family house at Kenyazi Bofodu. The family suspects other people may be complicit in the alleged crime. Efia Techua speaks for relatives.
Naomi dear, Naomi nyeni paboni o. Naomi dobia.
Naomi was not a bad person. Naomi loved people. Naomi liked everyone. We were all shocked over her death. She was not the quick-tempered type. Children, adults, all of us like Naomi. And above all, she had other people's welfare at heart. Naomi would cook for others to eat, never minded going hungry.
From Bofodu in the Ashanti region for JoyNews, Ohiming Teria reports.
Elsewhere, the Western Region Police Command has launched investigations into what led to the escape of a suspect held in connection with 3 kidnap cases between October and December last year. The 28-year-old Samuel Uduteng Willising is said to have escaped from the Takadi Central Police Cell last Sunday at about 4:30 p.m. Regional Police Public Relations Officer DSP Olivia Erabna Adiku tells JoyNews the escapee was the known leader of a gang believed to be behind 3 kidnappings in the Sekondi Takoradi metropolis. She says the police have increased their vigilance and called on the public to assist with information that could lead to the rearrest of the suspect.
Actually, the incident happened on 30th of December at around 4:50 p.m. The police detected that one suspect by name Samuel Udotek Wilson. He is 28 years. It was realized that he had escaped from the cells. And upon inspection, it was detected that he used an implement to cut the iron rods for the ventilation in the cells and escaped. So as I speak to you, police have started investigations into the circumstances that led to the suspect being able to escape from the cells.
Meanwhile, the 7 police officers who were on duty during the escape have been given 10 days to produce the suspect or face the law.
The truth of the matter is that they've been given 10 days. That is our procedure. When you're on duty or when you are involved in any case of prisoner escape, the officer who that prisoner was in his or her custody or whilst you were on duty and this incident happened, you'll be given 10 days. So after the 10 days, if the suspect is not being able to capture or if he's captured, that's why we also have procedures that will put them through. But for now, they have not been detained. They have been given 10 days, and I think it is already 2 days or 3 days now, and they are still searching for the suspect. At the same time, the Takoradi District Commanders are also making efforts, and they are having some clues. So we hope that before the week ends, we'll be able to recapture the suspects.
Now, it's always been the case that on the first working day of each new year, hundreds of new vehicle owners throng the premises of the Driver Vehicle and Licensing Authority to acquire the year's first set of number plates for their vehicles. This year, Maxwell Agwagwa was at the Accra Regional Office near the 37 Military Hospital and reports the situation was no different. Such vehicle owners, he says, cite numerous reasons for the New Year rush, including the desire to be seen to drive a relatively new vehicle.
It's that time of the year when the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, their premises, across the country get very busy. Today, this morning, we are here at the 37, branch of the DVLA, and already there are a lot of activities, going on here at this point. About 50 people, 60 people in the banking hall already. Usually, when it's getting to the end of the year, you not see the numbers like that. Sure. But a lot of people are in a rush to register their vehicles and get a 2019, number plate. So this morning we are asking what at all is in a number and what would you do to get a 2019 registration, number.
I mean, like a festival, people want it. You can't get out from the Ghanaians wait on January. They think I have 19 on. I'm on top. Right, that is one great thing people see. So it's something that we can take away from Ghana. It's becoming a normal culture. Okay. I would say it's been a festival. People have it on it in January. They are happy. Anytime if it's 18, they have 18 on. They are proud.
On the notice board, they've actually displayed some numbers. They call them special numbers.
Yeah. I know a guy who bought a car somewhere in June and he said he wanted to wait till the following year. So you over here the 18 because he want to drive in the new number in the new year. So he went to that particular year.
If I give you the opportunity right now, consider me as a genie. I'm giving you the opportunity to choose a registration number for 2019. What would be your choice?
I'll go for maybe 1012.
1012.
Yes.
Is that your date of birth?
Well, that's my last born. Was born 10 December.
Okay.
So 1012. Then the 19 continue.
What about you?
I'm gonna choose GR 1919.
Wait,
1919-19 registration. You got it, that's the year. Okay. 1919-19.
Okay, because 2019.
Exactly, and you're going to be nice on that Bentley.
Well, I think it's got to really do with the perception of having a new number plate in a new year. I think that's what it is about, because most Ghanaians are of the impression that the more recent the number plates, the more newer the car is, something like that, I mean, you could have a car as old as 8 years ago, but once it's registered with a new year's number plate, it is perceived that it's in a good condition and so on and so forth.
Now, managers of special schools are advocating inclusion of their schools in the free senior high school program. It comes on the back of regular government subvention, which officials say is taking a toll on academic work and general running of the schools. A tutor at the Ashanti School for the Deaf at Kumasi, Esmond Odro, says persistent indebtedness to food and other suppliers threatens nutritional well-being of students. He spoke when Chief of Staff Akosia Frema-Osei-Opare presented foodstuffs and other items to the school. Nana Senso-Mensah has more in this report.
Government subvention, which is the school's only source of funding, is in constant default. Management says the situation is a major challenge to quality education delivery. Infrastructure is another challenge at Ashanti School for the Deaf, where students learn in a dilapidated structure that has seen no renovation for over 40 years since its inception. Mr. Odro believes the best way out is for government to extend the free senior high school program to students with special needs.
The challenge that we have is the feeding grants. The feeding grant doesn't come early. Sometimes the time it comes, maybe we go on vacation. Sometimes we go the whole term, the feeding grant has not come. So we have to wait till the next term that it comes before you can do payments. So when it happens like that, you cannot get the required needs of the children, the money to buy the right ingredient to feed the children. So it is also another challenge. So for me, I don't know, the heads of special schools have not call on government, but if I'm to speak for the heads, I will call on the government if he can put the special schools also under the government free senior high school, the feeding, so that they will get foods frequently to feed the children.
More or less a supply
food for the children. Yes, food items. Yes, for the children. Yeah.
Madam Frema-Osei-Opare assured steps will be taken to give such schools a facelift across the country. Here is head of political desk at her office, Frank Asiedi-Bequin.
Government is going to embark on a massive infrastructure development this year. There's going to be a lot of education facilities to be constructed by Get Fund. So as you are aware, the Parliament just approved a facility of which $500 million is in. That 2019, as the President said, is going to be an action year. And as you are aware, yesterday we exited the IMF. So now we have weaned ourselves from the clutches of the IMF. So now we are going to undertake massive reconstruction. We are going to build a lot of education facilities.
Nana Senso-Mensah reporting.
Hundreds of patrons queued up as early as 9 a.m. for the Love Affair family party in the park, despite having kept vigil to usher in the new year. The 2019 edition offered parents and their wards an opportunity to spend quality time together and strengthen family ties. The day's activities were enough to keep the families busy and entertained throughout. Prince Apia has more in this report.
Bouncy castle, electric train, swimming pool, horse riding and others were available at the Rattray Park, where children had trooped in to celebrate the new year. It was the Love Affair family party in the park, the first for the year 2019.
I went to sit on the horse. I've been playing football.
You went to bounce?
I went to bounce.
I went to paint my face.
I went to paint my face. And I went to the trampoline and I bounced. And I went to collect a knife. And I went and collect. Somebody bought Fanta for me and I drank it. That's everything. We have painted her face. And that's me tired. I think they'll play. I came here with my family. We are having more fun. We have eaten ice cream. We have rode some horse.
have jumped on the trampoline. We are waiting to have more fun. I've been having fun at Rachi Park. I rode horses, jumped on trampolines and bouncing castles, and I've been having fun with my siblings.
The day was full of fun-packed activities, which included kiddie and mascot dance, treasure hunt competition, and live band performances, especially for the oldies. Patrons were excited with the experience at the events.
And name Minister and Ammonia Kumasi say a Beji Ewaha. Yeba for a South and Great Kumasi engineers at the by was says any hand and Nijewa.
Yadi Amofra Bebiso, Abba Kumasi, the person Beji money Ewaha, the Doma Bato, Omoba, be an Ajibe, your feeling.
Oh, it's been fun so far. They've been worrying me to take them to the park since they vacated. And I think today, actually, is the time that we had the opportunity to come here. And I think so far it's been good. They've been moving around from game to game, and I'm sure they're enjoying themselves. I'm just observing, I'm just relaxing. After we did a hard day's work yesterday, I'm hard to take some time off to be here to also enjoy myself a bit.
After distressing in this manner, both parents and their wards will end the holidays in this memorable manner and prepare for the best in the rest of the year. Prince Apia reporting.
Police in 3 towns in the Western region have taken delivery of vehicles donated to assist them in the operations. The 3 towns, Bibiani, Sifi, Bekwai, and we also all in the Western North region, have for a while now had to depend on one vehicle. Former Chief Executive of the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company, Alfred Obeng Boateng, who donated the pickups valued at over $500,000 Ghana cedis, says it was in response to appeals by the police. Kwesi Deborah has more.
At Sefi Bekwai, he observed government basically is responsible for development of the country. Mr. Obeng Boateng, however, noted delayed delivery of projects and services caused by inadequate resources can be fatal.
It all began when the police commanders made a passionate appeal to me some time ago, requesting for vehicles to enhance the delivery of their services to our communities. Being security conscious with my appreciation of the high risk that the people in our communities will be exposed to when the police becomes incapacitated in discharging their core duties, led to my quick response to the aforesaid request. There is no doubt that without adequate police protection, the criminals, particularly the armed robbers, will not only take our cash and movable properties, but also our lives. Therefore, this gesture is for the safety and security of the inhabitants of Bibiani, Amiaso Bekwai, and Sahioso municipalities.
The 3 areas fall within the proposed Western North region endorsed by referendum last week. Mr. Obeng Boateng, who played a key role in the process, entreats natives home and abroad to contribute to developing the area.
However, let us remind ourselves that there is blessings in giving than in receiving. Notwithstanding the above benefits that we gain for supporting our own communities or society, the big question which I usually ask is that if you and I do not help, who else should do it for us when the need arises?
Bibiani Divisional Commander Chief Superintendent John Osebonsu is happy the community is embracing the concept of shared responsibility for crime combat. Sefiyoso Divisional Commander Chief Superintendent Francis Eno added police need the consistent support of stakeholders to execute their mandate. Chiefs from the various paramouncies implored the service to ensure proper maintenance of the vehicles for which they pledged fuel. Meanwhile, Mr. Obeng Boateng announced the acquisition of an old underground mine at Ayiresu and Abofrem for reactivation. He said the official takeover before the end of January will see creation of jobs for the teeming youth in the communities. Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
Now, with the turn of the new year, many are those who resolve to regularly exercise to stay healthy and keep away from the hospital. Gym subscriptions, as a result, see a spike, whilst those who decide to hit the streets to jog find themselves in very good company. Health experts are, however, cautioning not all forms of exercises are necessarily helpful. Chief Executive Officer of Medicus Hospital, Dr. Ya Osafo, says before people begin any exercise regime, they must first consult health professionals to know what types of exercises are appropriate.
Exercises are beneficial to almost every part of your body. So they improve your cardiovascular risk factors. And when we talk about cardiovascular risk factors, we're talking about these risk factors or the likelihood of you developing a disease that affects your heart or a disease that affects the heart and then related vessels. So exercises would improve your cardiovascular or lessen your cardiovascular risk factors. Exercises would improve your ability to control diabetes. It may also delay the onset of diabetes. When you exercise, you tend to use up a lot of the glucose in your blood. So we found out that exercising is also quite beneficial in the control of, say, diabetes. Now, we live in an era where we have a lot of people sitting down for long periods, leading a very sedentary lifestyle, whether they have a shop in Makola or they work on the high street in one of these fanciful offices, or sometimes they are working from their home with their laptops. We tend to sit for long periods. Children are the worst culprits these days because they just sit behind, in front of the television screen. They won't go around and walk around and run around as they did some time back. So these are all dangerous times in which we live, and we have to do something about it. What is good enough exercise? So we need to exercise. So I'm sure somebody will be asking, how do I start? Well, the first place to start is your GP, your general practitioner. You need to always go and see your doctor if you're an adult before you start exercising. Even if you're a teenager, I think it would be a good idea to walk in and have a conversation with your family doctor, and then he will give you what we call a medical. Most of the time when we see our footballers going to new clubs, we hear that, oh, they've been signed pending the success of a medical or passing a medical. So it's very important because you may have a medical condition that precludes you from undertaking certain types of exercises, or you may have a condition that would be worsened if you exercise. So the starting point is always to go and see your doctor. Your doctor will do simple checks, measure your blood pressure, check your blood glucose levels. Just make sure that you are generally healthy to start exercising.
Dr. Yosef has also been prescribing the forms of exercises appropriate for children, teenagers, and those 60 years and above.
Having said that, I will still maintain that everybody can exercise. So let's start with children. Children between the ages of 5 years and 17 years, we would encourage for them to do at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercises daily. So for children, we encourage daily exercise. So for the parents and guardians who are sometimes too concerned about, they don't want the children to run around because they are afraid they will get injured. They don't even walk to the roadside because they will go from the inside of the home into the mommy or daddy's car, then they are driven to school, or there's a school bus that picks them right in front of their homes. It will be good for sometimes for them to just walk, a short distance, to pick the school bus, and then also take part in physical activity in school. For individuals between the age of 18 and then 60 years, they should also exercise. We would encourage for them to do about 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise in a week, or they should exercise at least 3 times in a week. If you do it every other day, then it is easy to do so. Individuals who are beyond 60 can also exercise, but then for that we are always careful. Your doctor will have to examine you, possibly your physiotherapist will also have to take a look, and then they would prescribe the type of exercises that you can undertake.
The Secretary of the Ghana Muslim Mission is appealing to the Inner City and Zongo Development Ministry to upgrade infrastructure of Islamic schools across the country. Mission Secretary Alhaji Dr. Amin Bonsu argues it is important to improve academic standards for a strong foundation to take host communities out of need. Dr. Bonsu was addressing the 60th anniversary of the Ghana Muslim Mission in Kumasi. Nana Senso Mensah has more on this report.
Islamic Senior High School in Kumasi is one of the most popular in Ghana with over 9,000 students. The school's status as examination center for the West African Examination Council is under threat because it has no suitable auditorium.
And as I already said, it's the most populous SHS in the country. And as we speak, there's lack of infrastructure. It may interest you to note that when they are writing exams, because of the sheer number of students here, we move them into smaller classrooms, and that brings a lot of challenge to the invigilators. If we have a big assembly hall, we can put them inside, and invigilation becomes easier. And because of that, if you are not careful, we even stand the chance of losing the examination center because of more practices.
Alhaji Dr. Bonsu wants government to complete all stalled projects in Islamic and other senior high schools to ensure smooth running of the free senior high school policy.
We are appealing to other missionary schools and then state schools that we should not compare the people to go to their church service while they are learning. That was what was deterring Muslims to pursue their education. And so if you do that, it doesn't augur well for our nation. And also, we encourage everybody that we should donate towards the cause of the Ghana Muslim Mission for all what the infrastructures and other.
Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, assures of government commitment to the education needs of Zongo communities.
And therefore, as Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development, whatever it is that I shall do with the assistance of the government machinery to ensure that all of your educational programs and structures are completed to enable quality Islamic education, we shall ensure that it is done.
For JoyNews, Nana Senso Mensah.
And that'll be all for the bulletin. My name is Israel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.
This is JoyNews Prime.